guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be finishing up the look that I already started a few weeks ago actually, but for whatever reason my camera or me just didn't press play when I was doing the eye section. So wow, incredibly ghetto. I'm so sorry y'all. Well, yeah, I did my eyes that quickly. I knew that was going to happen. So my camera stopped. Don't know why. I knew it was gonna happen. Not gonna freak out. Not gonna freak out. We're gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna pretend like that's exactly what we wanted. I'm just going to recreate the look on this eye that I've already done over here. And I'm just gonna talk to you guys about where I've been in the last, what headspace I've been in the last few years up until recently, the last like 2 years or so. I feel like I owe you guys that explanation, especially for being away for so long. I can't just come back here creating content and not talk to you guys about what was going on. So I'm going to be using the Morphe 35M palette. Still really love this palette. I've had it for a really long time and I've just started to use it on myself. I used to use this a lot with my clients. So I just wanted to create something cute. I know we're in fall now, so I wanted to do something green. And if you want to, you can always remix this into maybe like a Halloween look. She's giving me poison ivy. What do you think? I'm gonna be using this color right here to get into and start to carve out that crease area. So let's hit it. Taking you guys all the way back to probably like 2011, 2012, up until like through 2016, 2017. I was still uploading videos around this time. It was not consistent at all. I was not on any sort of schedule. If you look at my old videos, like maybe I was making like a video a month or like every 2 videos a month. This really was something that I just really enjoyed doing, but I did in the back of my mind want to get paid for doing YouTube content. At that time, in 2012, I had come back from college. I dropped out of college. I didn't finish, mainly because I didn't know what the hell I was doing there. And I don't feel like I was mature enough to really buckle down, finish my education and just do what I needed to do. And plus I was so caught up in YouTube and just like being a makeup artist that I just didn't feel like I needed school, to be very straight up. All of my friends were going to college, so I went to college, but I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be a entrepreneur, you know? So I came home from college in 2011 and I was starting to look for jobs. Now, my mindset at this time was, I don't understand why it wouldn't be accessible to me to just be able to pay for my own place in full by myself, all my bills. I don't need anybody's help. And that's where I was stuck at for years and years and years. Cause I was like, I don't have any kids. I can do this. Like, it's not a big deal. I can easily find a job paying me enough to get my own place. Right. So that's what I did. I started to do my job search through Indeed. I was still making promos and stuff for my business, doing promotions on like YouTube, paying for promotions, trying to figure out how to, I didn't really know anything about an algorithm. I was just like trying to figure out how to get my face out there more and more. At this time, I don't think I had really sunken into a depression yet. I was just too busy trying to keep my head down and hustle and build. I was working at a gym at this time. I worked at the gym, I think for like 2 or 3 years actually, as a receptionist, and thought everything was fine. I thought I was fine. I thought I had it figured out. I was doing my YouTube video. I was on my hustle, like whatever. Coming through 2012, 2013, I got a job down in Richmond, working at a school, at a makeup school specifically. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm still on my shit, still grinding, going back and forth. I was also doing makeup in my area. I was still trying to teach classes. I was still doing bridal makeup. I was still just running around doing different makeup looks for people that were paying me while still working at the gym, while still going to school. I can't remember if I was in school full-time or part-time, but I want to say that I had full-time hours, well, full-time credits. So I'm teaching classes for a school, teaching down in Richmond. I'm in my area teaching classes and doing makeup. I'm still working at the gym. I'm still applying to other jobs and going to interviews. So I started to link up with another girl that was a student at the school I was working at, and we started doing our own thing. So I was kind of just like running all around all over the place. I wish I was a little bit more organized. I still do to this day. I'm working on it, but back then I was just kind of like taking on whatever I could, just trying to be busy and just really trying to hustle it. Now, I don't know where things just took a turn. Shit just like really took a turn for me. Now that I look back at it, I probably just burned myself out trying to do all of those things. So I don't know if it's because of the frustration of not being able to find a job that I felt was good enough to pay for my own apartment, my own car, my own bills. And I got stuck in this rut of not being able to move past that. And like, now that I think about it now, I don't think the economy was bad or anything. This is just a really expensive area, and it's just, you need help. Like, you need a co-signer, you need help, and I just wasn't willing to ask for that help. I just felt like because I had dropped out of school, they were already disappointed in me, and instead of just, you know, going to them and being like, listen, I'm really struggling. So I didn't say much at all. You know, I just stayed low and continued to try and work and apply for jobs, even though I wasn't really getting anywhere. Fast forward through 2013, 2014, I'm really in a really bad place. I'm smoking weed every single day. I'm drinking and partying probably every other day at this point with my friends that I had. By this time, I stopped going to school. I couldn't juggle all of those things that I was doing. That's my air conditioning. I'm sorry, it's very, very loud, so I'll speak up. By this time, my head, I just felt like it was just so loud. Like, I had so many questions in my mind that I knew the answer to, and I needed someone to help me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just stressing out about it and just staying stagnant, I needed help, you know? But instead of getting help, I coped, and I buried those feelings of uncertainty, and I just drowned them out with weed and alcohol for like the longest time. Me and my friends would just kick it. We were hanging out after work and like just kicking it, like still working these 2-bit jobs. I had started applying. I didn't want to skip this part because it still is a good tool if you're looking for a job and you don't have a degree. I started working through Robert Half to find jobs in my area, and they weren't piss testing me or anything like that. So like, I was still able to get these little jobs, but they were only paying like $13 an hour, $14 an hour. I think the highest that I got paid through a temp agency was like $18, $19 an hour, but it's a contracted job. So I was so caught up in this like stagnant, this like place of applying for these jobs, working the contract, making the money or whatever, but once the contract was over, I was still at square one. And it would stress me out, it would put me in a depression, so I would smoke and I would drink. And it was just this like horrible 360, because I would come back to the same place every time of just uncertainty and just coping mechanisms. And you need to stop smoking weed so you can get a better job, and you need to, you know, because what is Najee going to do? Like, your autistic brother, like, Najee's not going to be able to make it without you. What if something happens to your parents? Then what? Then you're screwed. Like, these really just, like, my mind just became so loud with all of this shit that hadn't happened yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that was anxiety. I don't know what that was. I know I was depressed, but like, my mind was just so loud with questions that I knew the answer to, but I also wasn't trying to work towards like a better solution. You know what I mean? Like, I was just stuck in this one area. And so I coped. Outside of makeup comes second nature to me. So like, I didn't really feel the pressure there. I felt the pressure in just like moving on, you know? How do I move forward when I don't have any money, when I'm in this very expensive area? How do I move forward? You ask for help. Now at 28, well, I'll be 28 in November, but you move forward by asking for help. And I was too hard-headed to ask for help, because I needed to work for it myself. Like, I needed to do it by myself, so I could be able to say like, I did this by myself. I didn't need your help. To my parents, to whomever, I just wanted to be that person, like, yeah, I made it on my own. And it just wasn't feasible at that time, you know? So I just became incredibly depressed. I became completely detached. I feel like my body and my mind were like almost two different things. So like still applying for jobs, still working these temporary contracts, but just like in a daze, you know. As the years went by, I feel like I had a different friend group in each year, and I think when they looked at me, they saw a person with two good parents. They saw a person that never really had to struggle with like food and like poverty growing up. So like they looked to me for advice in their own lives that I couldn't really give them. And I was willing to do so because if I worried about their problems, I didn't have to worry about mine. I got caught up in that mindset as well. And this is coming from someone that can look back at it now. Back then, you know, I knew what I was doing, but it was just like I wasn't thinking in terms of like I'm using these people as much as they're using me, because they would still use me. I had a job, you know, so like I would buy the bottles, I would buy the weed, I would buy whatever, going to their houses, hanging out every day. There were stints in between these contracts where I couldn't find a job, like meaning I wasn't willing to like work at McDonald's for $7.25 because like I said, I'm still bullheaded. I don't want anyone to help me find this apartment. So, and I went stints for months without having a job, and that just put me in this like terrible mindset of just like this constant cycle, and the depression just got worse. I continued to drink and smoke every day, and I still to this day, even with the shit that I went through with smoking weed, I still don't think weed is a bad thing. I think that it's the people trying to use weed in a way to stuff down their own emotions, to just like, what's that meme where the dog is like sitting in this burning room and like everything is fine? Like that's how it was. Like it's not fucking fine, sis. So being in that window for so long and just like coping with other people's problems, I was stuck in that position for years, just working these two big jobs, hanging out with friends. Most of the day I was not at home. Like to face my parents was just, I didn't want to face that. You know, they were a constant reminder of what I hadn't accomplished, and I just could not deal with that. And instead of looking inward, I feel like I just blamed them and then just kept it moving into just coping with these horrible emotions. So we fast forward, and I started hanging out with these people that I felt like were older, so they were more mature. Most of my friends were older than me at that time, but they were just in a different place in their own lives and dealing with their own insecurities. Like I said, we were just using each other to just cope with the things that we didn't want to deal with, if that makes sense. We didn't want to deal with our own insecurities, body image, not being able to live the life that you wanted to live, job-wise, and then we just partied together, you know. But I quickly found out that those people were not really my friends, so I just distanced myself away from them. My family life wasn't bad, but I just feel like me and my parents weren't communicating well. I wasn't communicating with them what was going on, and I don't think they really knew how to communicate their frustrations with me either. Really, it should have been just like, I'm scared for you, I'm worried about you, and what's going on with you mentally and emotionally. I feel like that would have been the first right step on their end, but for me, I don't know if I would have been receptive to it. I really don't. At that time, I was very vulnerable, and I just wasn't ready, I guess, to just be different. I felt like you didn't care when I was trying, so why do you care now? You know, and it's just so stupid to think like that, because like I could say now, like I was screwing up then, I shouldn't have a right to just like turn my life around now. Like it was stupid. But again, when you're just drinking all the time and you're smoking all the time, your brain just becomes convoluted with a bunch of crazy bullshit thoughts, and my mind was just so loud. To quiet my mind, I smoked. To quiet my mind, I like drank, but it never really worked. 2017, 2018, I'm like running back and forth between here and Fakir. I'm partying with some chicks, you know, that I still love to this very day, but we're not friends because me needing to move on. Like, especially after I got in trouble, I really didn't start to look at myself in my life until after I got in trouble. So not while I was in trouble I got 3 possession charges in 3 months in 3 different counties. It's not funny. It's not something to be proud of, but like, girl, you're up majorly. Not funny, but like, sis, I had an option to either go to jail or get my shit together and, you know, go on probation, which included like taking a bunch of classes every week. I was on color code. Like, it was crazy. I was so broke because I was working again a temp job, but I kind of thank God for it, because when you work a temp job, you usually get paid every week because they've already set aside the money for you. The allotted amount of time that you're going to be working is the money that they're going to be putting into it. So they paid us every week. And if I hadn't been paid every week, I would be screwed. I would probably be in jail right now. I think they arrest you if you can't like make all your payments or whatever. It forced me to sit down somewhere and really think about what I was doing with my life. I had been in situationships after situationship. I was using not only like drugs and alcohol to cope with my feelings, but just using friends, using guys, using sex, just to not deal. And when I couldn't do any of those things, I just kind of like only had myself to just sit with myself, which was probably the best thing for me, because I was just like, use this as a transition. So I did. I got a different job that I still have today. I'm not going to say which one because I don't need y'all stalking me. I know you would want to. I got a job up north, and during that time, I had actually moved out, and I found a place. This is before the possession charges, so I'm skipping around a little bit. I'm sorry, but like in 2018, I can't remember. In 2018, I abruptly moved out of my parents' house. I think I got a job at a hearing aid company. It was a contract, but it was paying me $18 an hour, which in the area is enough to kind of get your own, at least rent a room. So that's what I did. I got that job on a Monday. I was like being interviewed by people that had luxury apartments in this area. And I found one. I moved in with this Spanish chick and her boyfriend, who I didn't really know that she had living there with her, in this beautiful apartment. It was so expensive. I can't even remember how much money I paid her every month. I was living in this luxury apartment, marble freaking countertops, wood floors, a balcony, like really cute stuff. So I thought I was good, but I was still running around doing the same shit that I was doing because I didn't live at home anymore. So then once I moved out, I think within like a couple weeks, I got the charges. I lived there first for I think like 8 months or so. Then her lease was up, so I moved. And I finally asked my mom for help. Like, can you co-sign for this apartment with me? So when I came to this apartment, I could still hide. You know what I mean? I could still hide my issues because I was in my own place now. So I really didn't give a damn. Something just in my mind after the whole probation thing, it just clicked, like, this just isn't working anymore. You know, like, you don't have to hide anymore. Like, you're in your own space. You're in your own little cocoon. Why are you still like doing this destructive behavior? So like I really had to dig deep. Me and my mom did have some conversations about just, I guess, me feeling like she wasn't able to support me mentally and emotionally the way I wanted her to. But I wasn't really looking at her perspective as a mother, like working so hard and trying to provide financially for your family. But coming from the background that my mom comes from, because she didn't have the best childhood either, and just not understanding that, like, she couldn't do it all for me. Like, I had to figure it out on my own, but it wasn't okay for me to drown out those uncertainties with weed and alcohol. It just wasn't okay. Being in my own place at that time was a blessing, and I didn't really even see my blessings coming into fruition because this is all I really wanted. All I wanted when I was living at home was to have my own place so I could do YouTube videos and get paid for it. That was it. My dreams were very simple, very basic, and be able to do this all day, every day. And I didn't even see that coming into, like, through those hard issues, through those hard times. That's exactly what and where I am today. So it was a blessing. It was a blessing to have to go through that, because it again, I was able to get a job that's really good. I'm not fully, I'm not like some freaking millionaire or anything like that, trust and believe, but I'm not in that place anymore. Not in that place anymore, trying to drown out my feelings with people and outward substances and wanting to be wanted, because I didn't even realize that's what I wanted. I just wanted someone to see value in me, and that someone is me. So it was just a really wild ride coming into myself, really admitting to myself the part I played in my own life and how it turned out. I was still drinking a lot, I was still smoking a lot, but I was, again, in my own place. Towards the end of last year, I started to really look at my health, because clearly I have gained a lot of weight since the last time I was on YouTube. And I was just really looking at my health, and just like my mind and my body was just kind of like coming back together. And I didn't realize that separation was just like the ultimate self-abandonment. And I looked at my body and I was just like, you really need to get it together. I was experiencing lower back pain, upper shoulder pain. I was fatigued all the time. All I wanted to do was sleep, and that's just not me. Like I have energy, like I like to be outside, I like to kick it and everything, but just like be healthier. So in the last year or so, I've been really trying to find what suits for me, and it always goes back to just eating right and just working out, drinking more water, taking more walks, and just really starting out slowly with my body and my mind back together as one again. Because for the longest time, I completely abandoned myself, which turned into self-sabotage. I had a ring on here on this finger for the longest time. I could not get it off. Like, I started gaining weight around the ring, and I just couldn't get it off for like 7 years. I was not able to get this ring off. Probably like a month or two ago, I just was twisting it and it just came right off. And it just like really triggered in my mind, like, dang, I've had this ring on for so many years, and I started to think about my past more. And I was like, dang, like I really came up out of that depression. I still struggle with it sometimes, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. It's not I'm not settling for people anymore. I'm not settling for myself anymore. I'm trying to get back to who I was when I was making videos and just happy before I started drinking heavily and like smoking heavily. I'm trying to get back to her, and I genuinely feel like I'm on the right path. Like, it's so crazy to look up and be like, okay, I'm living the way that I wanted to live, just the simplest way that I wanted to live when I was younger. Have my own place that I'm able to pay my own bills for. Have a job that I can go to every day that does not require me to be, because the temp jobs that I had, some of them were at night, some of them were on the weekends. Like, it was all over the place. So like I have exactly what I've been wanting. So now it only makes sense for me to come back to you guys and just, talk about those things, and hopefully I can help somebody that's also a young 20-something to realize that you need to show yourself some grace. Like, I wish I understood, like, of course you're not going to have all your shit together within a couple of years. You're 20 years old, you're 21 years old. And if I had shown myself a little bit of grace then, I don't think I would have had to cope. I didn't feel like I would have to cope so bad with people in alcohol and smoking weed and stuff like that. I've made some major mistakes, but someone has shown me grace, either the universe, God, my parents. I have been lucky enough for someone to show me grace, even when I didn't show myself grace. I hope that me telling you guys that type of story and just breaking that down for you helps somebody else realize that coping with it negatively and abandoning yourself isn't going to make it any better. It's not going to make it any easier, because when you come down from that high, or you wake up the next day with a hangover, your problems are still going to be there. I have a lot better friends. I have a lot better relationship with my parents and myself. So that helps a lot. That helps a lot. I have really good girlfriends, and a really good family behind me. But now, now I can look at myself and say, even if I didn't have those things, I can take care of me mentally and emotionally. Confidently say I'm not always confident, but at least I'm really putting my best foot forward for it. If you're a young 20-something, just show yourself some grace. Don't try and cope with just like smoking weed all day and just like kicking it all day with your friends. Like go home, talk to your parents. And if you can't talk to your parents, because I did try to go to therapy too, but I couldn't afford it. If you feel like you can't talk to your parents, talk to a friend, talk to somebody that's a little bit older than you, like a mentor or somebody from your school, and really talk to them about what's going on in your head. It's okay to say that you're scared. It's okay to say that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you know, but it's not okay to just sit in that for years and years or however long and just go through the motions. It's not okay. I'm going to put on these lashes. These are by 11. These are a prickly pear. So freaking good. I love these lashes. I filmed this video like 3 weeks ago, but I don't know what happened. The eye portion of it just got deleted, or I didn't hit play or something. But I just wanted to let you guys know that what's going on in my life, because I was just really struggling. I was just a lot of growing pains having to go through that. Just like really just figuring out how to grow up. And it taught me the hard way to ask for help. Me being on probation and just sitting around thinking was just like, ugh. But it was necessary. And I think God knew that. I think the universe knew that. And I knew that. I knew that I needed to ask somebody for help. I knew I needed to reach out and let somebody know what was going on with me. But I just felt like I didn't have anyone in my corner that really understood. I am not perfect to this day. Some days I really wake up and I really don't know what the hell I'm doing, but my self-talk is so much better now. Like, I don't sit here and call myself a failure anymore. I'm not comparing my life to other people and deciding because they went through more than me that what I feel isn't valid. And I'm being more honest with myself in the role that I play in where I'm at, because that's the beauty about growing up. You can make a decision today that'll change the trajectory of your life tomorrow. You know, drowning yourself out with people, places, and things is just going to bring you back to square one of your problem. That could be, you know, issues from your past, childhood, your family life. You know, that is your foundation. That makes up the basis of who you are. But you can decide as you get older how you're going to grow from that. So just keep on keeping on, but you don't have to do it alone. Ooh, I love these lashes. 11 Lashes Prickly Pear. Cop you some. Check out 11 Lash. They're a black-owned lash business. I saw them on Destiny Godly's Instagram. She was promoting them a lot, and I had to cop. And I'm so happy that I did, because these lashes are everything. Yes, mama. That's the look. I'm gonna add a little bit more highlighter. This highlighter I've been using crayon case, and I love her. Another black-owned business that you can find easily online. And these are actually she has a really affordable makeup. So if you're like a beginner, or you just don't have enough money to buy, like, you know, very expensive makeup, which these days you really don't have to in order to really be beat. Like, the makeup companies have really like stepped their game up with color choices and just being a little bit more accessible to everyone. You can be beat on a budget. I'm just gonna do a quick lip situation. Velvet Teddy, still that bitch. This is by Mellow liquid lipstick. It's in the middle. And I'm gonna take Bobbi Brown's Buff Lip Gloss and just pop her in the center. If you guys now have checked out Bobbi Brown's lip glosses, there's one of them in nude that's like my favorite. It's like the perfect black girl nude. You have to check it out. I just like how these look in the middle. It just gives you like the ultimate DSLs. I'll blend her. I almost forgot the highlighter in the middle. I was wondering why it looked different from the other side. Ugh. You gotta be careful with this Angolia highlighter. She is seriously on her job, not playing with y'all. Clock in. You heard me? That's the look, guys. I know that this is like, I don't know if this is giving me spring or whatever it is, but I just really wanted something to match my cute little robe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It just feels so right to be back here. It feels so natural for me to be in front of the camera, doing what I do best. And losing that ring and for it to finally come off is a reminder. I think my finger is like slightly scarred from it anyway. But it's just a nice reminder to never abandon myself again. Never abandon myself again, no matter if anyone's, notices how hard I'm working, if they don't notice how hard I'm working. I can never let myself go like that ever again, because it was a really scary time for me. I really was scared. I was filled with so much worry that it was just too much for me at that time. Maybe even like a semi-quarter life crisis I was going through. But it just feels so right to be back. It feels like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that God, the universe, or whoever's looking out for me just knew that it was all going to come back full circle anyway. I was forced to change the trajectory of my life, which when I look back, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. Like, it's not something that can be thrown in my face and I'm like, ooh, like, because when I think back now, I was just a very young person, young, hard-headed person that just was too afraid to ask for someone to help me. And it bit me in the ass, but I learned from it and it's brought me back to y'all. So I'm excited. I'm excited to just walk with you on this journey called life. And I hope that you are going to stick around and subscribe and like and hit the notification bell so that we can do it together. Being off of YouTube and not actively posting, it gave me a moment to like step back and look at like what I was trying to keep up with as well. Like, that was another thing I was having issues with my videos, is like trying to stay on trend, keep up with the Joneses and like everything everyone else was doing. And I'm just like, that's just not me anyway. I want to speak from an authentic place, and if I can't do that, then I just freaking spiral out of control. So I just want to show you guys that it's possible, that, what you're going through will come to an end at some point. It's about what you do with that information. It's about what you do next. What's next? Are you going to sit up here and just wallow in your own pain? Are you going to continue to just be sad, or are you going to make that choice for yourself? Because someone's going to make it for you. If you don't make your own choice for yourself, someone will do it for you, and it's not going to be in your best benefit. Step out of yourself and into your truth, I guess. Step into what's really going on with you and feel it and let it pass in a healthy way, in a way that you won't destroy yourself in the process. Okay, so I just wanted to also add, now that I'm kind of watching the footage back, a way, I hate when people say like, you have to cope in a more healthy way. You have to, move through your life in a way where you be proud of. To say all of that and then not give any sort of like advice would be really counterintuitive to me. So what I did to kind of get myself out of a rut was I started Googling, how to cope with my emotions in a healthy way, how to, get myself out of a rut. I watched a bunch of TED Talks. TED Talks are incredible. People are just talking about an array of content, not just, all the glitz and glam and everything. They're talking about people's emotions and how to cope with that healthily and not find yourself in some spiral, and also how to be honest with yourself. Hell, that's a video on YouTube. How to, have tough conversations with, family members that you think may hurt you, or just how to cope with family members that you're not going to be able to get the emotional and mental support that you need. If you can't afford counseling, I would highly recommend going into those types of resources, because they're everywhere. You can help yourself. You can get yourself out of this rut. You just have to be honest with yourself that you are in a rut, that you are using drugs, alcohol, sex, men, to hide and bury your own emotions. So I hope that helps. So getting into a little bit of that research as well will help you on your journey. I hope that helps somebody. I hope that gives some clarification on where my mindset was in the last few years and why I hadn't uploaded in so long. I'm not perfect. None of these bitches are perfect. We're all going through some stuff, but it's about how we make it through. Blaming other people, your parents, your past or whatever, blaming them isn't gonna change anything for you now. You can't guilt people into like loving you, into giving you what you need. You need to give yourself that. And that's the beauty about being grown. You can give yourself that peace. And I can't express to you how good it feels to finally be on the other side of what feels like never ending sadness. I can't really express to you what it feels like to finally be at the right place at the right time in your life. It feels really good. It feels really good. And I'm not even there yet. I'm not even all the way there yet, but I just taking that breath of like, okay, I'm past that. I just want to thank my parents for always sticking it out for me, always sticking through it with me. Even when they didn't really know what to say, even if they didn't really have the right words, they never, ever left me. Even when I abandoned myself, they didn't abandon me. So shout out to my mom and dad for just being the best parents ever. And shout out to the universe, shout out to God. Like, you really did that. You really did that. I didn't see the plan while I was going through it, but now that I'm sitting in it now, I get it now. And I really just appreciate that time. It just give yourself time, people. If you're a young person and you're just caught up in everything right now, like, just give yourself time, but use your time wisely. Don't cope with it. Don't try and run from it, because it'll be right there when you get back. I promise you. I hope that helps somebody. Please continue to strut on these basics. I need you to go ahead and subscribe. I need you to hit your notification bell. I need to be all over your TL. I need to be all over Beyonce's Internet Blues, Twitter. I need to be on it. So follow me on all platforms. Just keep your head up. Stay strong and stay pretty. I hope you guys continue to subscribe. If you are an old subscriber, you've been with me for a while, I'm back. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. Holla at your girl, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace. Bye. Yes, face. Oh God. Oh shit. Oh no. God. Woo. Subscribe so your girl can pay for a damn table and a proper chair. What's happening? What's going on? Why are you doing it? Can you not? Quit that. You're embarrassing me. What do you guys think? Do I still got it? I don't know, but I like it. I think it's cool. Period.